What's going down, Scale Builders? It's your boy Josh, aka Coleman, back in the studio, man. Welcome back to another episode of Holmes Hobbies Motor Control. Today we are not hitting the trails, we're actually hitting the bench, and we're gonna talk a little bit about Hercules, Project Hercules. I saw a lot of questions on the last video and comments about the noise it makes, and people want to know what it's running, why it sounds the way it does. So we're gonna talk about that today. We're actually gonna put it on the bench, and it's filthy. I'm gonna try to do it without taking the body off. I know some of you guys might not like that, but it's a pain in the butt. So you'll see. Let's just let's head over to the bench. Let's bust out Hercules, and let's go over some of the electronics and stuff that we got going on in there. Let's go. All right, we got trucks everywhere today. It's just one of those days in the studio. Let's open her up. Hercules is stashed right up here on top. It gets the big boy seat. The top shelf has more height than the other ones. And this is a bigger truck. Whoa! And it's still broken. Let's get it over here. Let's clean this up, make a little room real quick. All right, you guys, here it is, the beast. This is Project Hercules in all its glory. This truck's unique, man. I get a lot of questions about it. A lot of people want to know why, first off, why the hell does it sound the way it does? Why does it whine so much? Why does it have such a crazy noise coming out of it when I drive it, right? Some people love it, some people hate it. Most people don't understand why it does it or why I built it like that. And we're gonna get into that a little bit today. Not gonna be a long video, but gonna try to be informative. So, first things first, let's talk about the size of this monster. Oh, we've got the good old tape measure back here. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. So, let's give you some context, right? First things first, you need to know how big it is, all right? Yes, those are 2.2-inch tires, so that's the first clue that it's a little bit bigger than your average SCX-10. Okay, wheelbase. We're talking about 15-inch wheelbase here. Boom, all right? Height. We're talking about 5-inch tall tires and a 12-inch tall truck, all right, with the light bar. Front to rear, we're talking about, around 22 inches long from bumper to bumper. Width, I don't know what width is, but it's pretty wide too. I don't know, let's see. We're gonna say, around 10.5 inches, right? Give or take a little bit. So that gives you a little context. Also, we're gonna talk about weight. This thing weighs over 15 pounds. I think the last time I weighed it was like 2 years ago, but if I remember right, it was like 16 pounds, if I remember right. Huge truck, massive truck, very heavy truck. In order to move all that weight around, you can go about it a couple of ways. But for me personally, I like to take Holmes Hobbies' motto of gearing down, volting up. That is how I do it. So in this case, I geared down and up, and we're gonna talk about that. But first, let's talk about the electronics. So first things first, this is pre-SHV days, so we've got a Holmes Hobbies BLS 8 HV500, right? And this is not the direct voltage one. This is one of their OG ones, and while some people complain that the old ones had some problems, I have yet to run into that. Even with this monster, it still works great. So pretty stoked on that. Lots of Vanquish stuff there, holding it all together, but and a homemade sway bar. Kind of proud of that. But yeah, great servo. Also, we've got a winch here. Is the RC 4-wheel drive Xeon 10 winch. It's one of their biggest ones, one of their biggest worn winches, and that is powered by a Holmes Hobbies BR Mini, which you can't see up in there, but that bad boy right there. Not the dual version, but the single version, just because there's only one winch on this. So reason I do that is because the power. All right, you can take a winch like this and hook it up to a normal winch controller, get a certain amount of power out of it. Hook it up to a BR Mini, you can get a lot more power out of it. Just to give you an idea. Fast. Let's see if that's actually pulled out. Here we go. All right, and that's even going through a snatch block, right? So the thing is fast. It's ridiculously fast, and it's powerful enough I've blown out the gears on the winch before, hence why it was down for so long. So now let's move on here, all right? Let's get underneath. You can see the other ESC I'm running is the BLE Pro, all right? The Trailmaster BLE Pro, my all-time favorite brushless ESC, up to 6S on this if you want to. I don't do it, but you can. Waterproof, sensor, just an all-around amazing ESC, my all-time favorite. Here's where the goods happen, all right? Coming up from here, in these axles, I've got some Holmes Hobbies spools in there. I think the Torque Master spools is what they're called. This is old school. These are Gen 1 axles, you know, so they've got Gen 1 gears and all that stuff in it. So I hooked up the spools, then I believe I put the spools in there. It's been a few years, but I believe I put the spools in there. Those run, obviously, out to these MIP CVDs, and then we've got some weirdness going on. We got 2 chassis, and we got 3 skid plates, right? And the reason I had to do that was, well, for one, to get the bumper-to-bumper chassis that I enjoy. I hate it when people's chassis don't go all the way to the bumpers. Drives me nuts, so that's one of the reasons. The second reason is because getting the links that I wanted to use in the positions I wanted to use them in without having to customize them too much, right? You can see they're kind of extended, but not much. Third reason is this third one here is for mounting the crazy transmission setup I have. What I have going on is a RC four-wheel drive AX2 2-speed transmission mated to an HPI 7.4 to 1 gear reduction unit, all right? That 7.4 to 1 gear reduction unit has some crazy gearing, and that transmission has some crazy gearing coming off of it as well, if I can get to focus. As you can see, I've got a big pinion, right, and a big spur gear, all right? And or did I do that backward? Maybe it's a smaller spur. It's kind of hard to tell. But the reason for that is because I had to play around to get it right where I wanted. It still was, it just wasn't the gearing I wanted. So I played around for a while, and that was the combo I finally landed on where I was happy, right? And I don't remember what it is, but it's massive. It's like a 21 tooth pinion or something like that. And then, is it how big? I mean, I think it's that big. It's close to it. But then the motor here, this is where it kind of confuses people. I'm not running some like, you know, crazy low kV motor. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, or if you can see how small this motor is. It's barely bigger than the HPI gear reduction unit. This is a Holmes Hobbies Pooler Pro. Now this is the BL540S, and the S is the standout part, all right? Some of you guys are already familiar with this because I've talked a lot about this motor in the past, but this is a stubby. This is a tiny motor. That's my thumb right there. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's my thumb, okay? That's how small this motor is. It's a tiny little thing, all right? And this little motor is 3,300 kV, and I am pushing that with 3S through this HPI gear reduction unit. And it's holding up. It's holding up good. The one thing that actually gave way in the video was the output shaft on the AX2 2-speed transmission, which is a known fail point. It's a known weak point. So I'm not too surprised. I think I'm more surprised that it lasted as long as it did under this amount of power and torque and weight, all being, you know, jammed around and thrown around on the trail like it's a little rock bouncer or something. So yeah, that's what I'm running in this, and that's why it sounds the way it does. I mean, here, just to give you some context, let's do this, all right? Here, I'm using an old RC four-wheel drive radio on this, but I'm gonna give it some throttle, and watch how much the pinion gear back there has to move before it moves the actual tires, right? You see that? Let's do that again. See the amount of torque that has? That is why I do that. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Tons of torque, plenty of speed due to the second gear in the transmission. And yeah, man, just so much control. I love control. And this isn't meant to be a rock crawler. It's not meant to be a trail rig or anything like that. It's literally just a fun concept vehicle that I use for overland type duties, right? And that's all it is. It's not meant to be the best of anything or to impress anybody with its uncanny ability to crawl on some rocks or something. It's not what it's about. For me, this is about creating art forms that are functional, and this is one of those art forms, and I love it. And the amount of torque it has just makes it so unique and so fun. And that's why it sounds like that. So it's a combination of gears and more gears on top of more gears moving a bunch of weight with the brushless motor. The motor itself and the ESC are actually silent. They're extremely quiet. It's all in the gearing, man. So anyways, you guys, that is what it's all about. Hopefully that helps clear some of that up for you guys that had questions about Project Hercules. Oh, my lens is dirty. Anyways, hopefully that clears up some of the questions you guys might have had about Project Hercules and why I built it the way I did. Why is it such a strange, unique looking and sounding vehicle? Why am I cool with all the whining noises and stuff? Why are the tires so big? Where's the front end of the Jeep? Why is, you know, all that stuff? Now you know. Now you know. If you want to learn more about it, I actually have an overview video somewhere back there. Project Hercules overview video. Man, I can't even talk. It's back there somewhere. If you guys want to watch it, go ahead and just dig through the channel a little bit. I think I have an overview playlist. If not, I'll put one together for you guys because we're going to be doing lots more overviews. I got like 30 plus builds we need to talk about. So that being said, you guys, if you're new here, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it enough to subscribe. If you've been around here for a minute, thank you for returning and showing your support like always. And yeah, leave me a comment. Leave me a like or a dislike. Let me know what you think about the content, what you want to see next. And anyways, y'all already know what it is. Peace and chicken grease, fam. I'm going to see y'all out on the trails. Yay!